Um, Runda, maybe you want to go into the essential workwear.
Okay. So the whole frame of reference came through figs when they were really big, but now I'm sure like their stock kind of crashed a little bit. The virality kind of died down, but I'm still kind of in love with this idea of fashion apparel out there. They got all these different categories, but usually they're all pretty formulaic with like the timeless fashion, luxury, fast and contemporary, and workwear. But like with this giant trend of like brands like Carhartt being the durable workwear and functional to the middle America crowd, even though like they might not necessarily be, but then they've just like built that entire brand image around it. And then even similar to Figs,
I love Carhartt.
if you go to Figs, the website itself, like it's such a beautiful shot opening hero video of their entire manifesto, and kind of it just makes all these healthcare workers in hospitals look so fashion forward that you can't just help to love it. And then apparently there was a time where during COVID, they just blew up as a brand because all the new nurse grads or healthcare worker grads, they all bought Figs because that was just a brand that just stated the fact that, oh yeah, they are an essential worker and a healthcare worker at the time. And I think there's going to be a huge community of nurses or other doctors that just search for comfortable indoor shoes to literally wear in the hospital for the entire day, or sometimes even like 48 hours. And I think Crocs were loosely a big brand that arose from that on just like comfortable shoes to wear in a hospital. But right now, if I really think from a consumer's mindset, I still can't think of a large brand that's predominantly just leveraging that positioning as like essential workers wear, other than Figs being like taken primarily within scrubs where healthcare apparel, but they don't really have a shoes line. So I was just like, okay, this is such an easy gap to fill. Just make an over-engineered healthcare worker shoes. So you've seen like the over-engineered Nike Air with 3D foam posters out there with commercials like that. I'm just like, it's such an easy get. There should be either a major shoe brand or like another new startup shoe brand that just like focus on like that over-engineered kind of healthcare shoes advertising. They do that so much for athletes.
They walk a lot, like a lot. Yeah. That's why I think it comes a big deal with cushion wear, especially if you're somebody who has any type of foot condition, like you have flat feet or your toes are like kind of downwards instead of more flat. It becomes comfortable in regular shoes, let alone wearing those same shoes for like a 12-hour shift and more when you're walking home, in between, let's say you got off late, got home early, anything like that. So comfortable shoes are big, and I'm trying to find any like big companies that are like that, and I don't see any current ones. So that's a really big market as well. And the fashionable wear is huge. Wearing the same scrubs decreases morale like no tomorrow. It's the same bland color, and it's just like, oh, and even if they're colorful, they've got stuff on it, it's just whatever. But if it's fashionable, you're boosting morale and you help decrease, even if by a little bit, the healthcare provider burnout.
Yeah. And even to a level too, if you position your brand into that market, it actually says something bigger than just like athletes. Because being the brand that supports people who save lives, that's just like a no-brainer, such a great brand position.
I think also people might be forgetting the fact that these days it's really easy to just make your own Crocs. Like if you just you can hire another 3D printing studio. You can go to them and have them give them the file, of course, and they'll be able to print you out a prototype, probably less than $500 to produce a prototype for one of these shoes that you could actually put on somebody and start taking photos with it and market the thing and see how it performs on various channels. And, if the interest is there and you want to invest in it and start actually producing the shoes and selling them, then, you have the choice to do that. And all that you've really put at risk is maybe like $500. But hey, at least you got some of your own shoes out of it in the end, if it didn't even work out. Yeah, I think that's such a low hanging fruit idea that I mean, geez, like if I just had like a free couple weeks, I think I that would be like the most fun project to ever work on. I don't know. What about you, Asha?
I think it's cool. You could do a lot with any of these ideas that have been brought up today. It's just going for it that's probably the hardest part for people. Being like, can I actually do this? And pushing yourself to make that first step, which I found is always difficult. But once you do it the first time, the second time, it becomes easier to have more confidence in not only the idea, but yourself to be able to make it happen. So having that confidence is the biggest thing you can have to make these viral ideas really.
That's a great transition because I was just gonna give out a freebie go-to-market strategy that they can easily take. If anyone's seen the movie Air, which is like the story on like
I
how
haven't seen it.
the Nike guy kind of developed that entire company within the basketball sports footwear positioning. Yeah, I'll just like give a brief synopsis to Josh. It's basically a movie about Nike with this key player of like I forgot his name, but a Nike exec that just worked on scouting for local basketball players or emerging sports athletes that they're able to find sponsorship money for the entire year. So Matt Damon played that character. And the story is essentially about how he was able to offer Michael Jordan to collaborate with Nike on Air Jordans. So that whole entire strategy throughout that story was basically essentially this guy scouting on these like MVPs on emerging college basketball players. But then I thought, wait, if I just like were to start this shoe brand and raise a bit of like venture capital money, or like if I work with a right PE firm on this idea, I might just like go with that same strategy of scouting the MVPs for the major metropolitan hospitals to a level. The nurses that's been around these hospitals for a while with seniority are probably the MVPs and local nurse influencers within their communities. So just strike a sponsorship to these senior nurses. Yeah, anybody. You could probably easily scout them out. It will probably be an easier process than finding athletes. But
just get them from like Toronto General or something. Get them from a hospital that sounds like a marketably intense hospital to work at. Maybe even better, when you're ready to push into the US market, go to like Chicago or something. Go to a hospital that everybody will just assume is like a freaky busy hospital based off of the name. Just go there and say like, yeah, we had their top general surgeon wear this and they loved it. Also, their nurse loved it, and so did this person. And yeah, like there you go. It doesn't really matter that they have this name that they've built up like Michael Jordan. Just they are who they are. They're in the position that they're in. They're at the NBA level of their craft.
Yeah.
And then like the sponsorship would be so easy. You just say, hey, we're providing you free shoes for the entire lifetime of your career, or even just like after your career. Because like Forever Shoes, like you're going to go through maybe like a pair per 2 to 3, 4 years. And then it's just like,
if they're good
so
shoes.
Low cost. Yeah,
it's true. Wow. I think we should make that.
All right, don't take this idea.
I mean, I just mainly want new shoes. I just really like always getting new shoes. So custom shoes sounds fun. I don't know.
No, good idea.
Well, I love that.